Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are listening to an all-new Season 3 of the Mindshare Podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at mindshare101.com and on all the major podcast platforms. This week's episode is sponsored by the Buzz Conference and Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. Make sure you connect with the Buzz Conference by visiting their website, www.thebuzzconference.com, or by following them on Instagram at The Buzz Conference to keep tabs on all the awesome events they are always hosting. Kits offers a fully loaded cross-channel marketing suite for the real estate industry, including tools to help you manage your business, build mindshare, and drive even more sales. You can learn more on my site, mindshare101.com, by clicking on Marketing. And as you know, we are on a push to 100 reviews on iTunes, and so I would like to ask you, if you haven't yet, please take 2 minutes, go to iTunes, rate the show, and leave a review. It really is that easy. And let me say thank you in advance. Today's episode is number 136. Toronto real estate broker, owner of Royal Lepage Terrequity Rinomato, and former host of the popular HGTV shows Property Versions and By Herself. She has over 25 years of experience in one of the toughest markets in Canada. She has worked with hundreds of clients, many of them single women, and understands the importance of first knowing yourself well, setting goals, remaining flexible, and keeping the goal of home ownership front and center in your thinking. She says, I've had to overcome some of my own deep-rooted objections in life before I could allow myself to dream and to live my true self. In my book, Home Worthy, I use real stories from my own life, as well as stories of how other women have dealt with their false beliefs in order to succeed in buying their own homes. I want women to know that they were born worthy and show them how they can get what they deeply want in life. She is the proud recipient of the coveted Stevie Award for Women in Business and a multitude of real estate awards. She has appeared as a real estate expert on The View, The Marilyn Dennis Show, CNN, Global TV, BNN, CTV, and more. She feels that everyone can contribute in some way to important issues in the community and enjoys participating in many charities, including health and organizations that aim to improve quality of life for women and animals. This week on the show, I am joined by Sandra Rinomato. Sandra, welcome to the Mindshare Podcast.
Hey, David, how are you?
I am doing amazing, thank you. I'm excited to have you here today.
You know what? Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely.
I always love talking to you.
I know, 100%. It's been a little while. But it's we've got a great show lined up today. I was really excited to receive that book you sent me a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, seriously. Had a good look through that, and I got to tell you, I truly enjoyed it. Like, I was looking through a lot of the points that you talk about, and I want to encourage everybody here. And we'll share more about with the link and where you can pick it up, but. There was so much that I resonated with in that book, and I think that it would be a powerful read for a lot of people that are tuned in right now. So let's start on that front, actually. Share more with us. Tell, what's the book all about, and why did you decide to write it? You're a successful real estate agent with all these other hats on. Writing a book, where'd you find the time even?
You know what? I'm so glad I took the time to do this, David, because as I was doing my research and understanding more, it was self-help for me. And I just gained so much more clarity. So I really do hope that it is a powerful read for people, because that was the intention. The intention was, it wasn't to make $1 million. I mean, unless you're J.K. Rowling, you don't make $1 million off of books, I'm told. But this is what happened. So, I've been a real estate agent for a long time, right? So I love working with women. I was a single woman buying my own property after my divorce. And you know what? I didn't have any qualms about it. Maybe because I had gone through the worst real estate decline. Canada went into a recession, and I actually lost money on real estate, which
was like early 90s.
Yeah.
Back then. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And my interest rate was like 13.75%. It was a nightmare, right? So I'd gone through the gamut. And so I wasn't afraid. So it never dawned on me to have fears about buying property just alone. I just never did. What I did was made sure that I could afford the property no matter what. I mean, I was a realtor then. So it was, you're paid by commission, you're not guaranteed a weekly paycheck. So I made sure I could get money from an auxiliary apartment in there. So when I started working with women, and I love this statistic, almost 1 in 4 home buyers in Canada is a woman buying on her own, which is brilliant. That is massive sociological change. Like 50 years ago, a woman couldn't get a credit card on her own without a male cosigner. So look at the difference. Now, women are, getting mortgages and buying properties or paying cash, however they're doing it. Now, people go, so big deal. So 25% are, women, maybe 50% are families or couples, and the other 25 are men. No, only 10% are single men buying on their own. So I found that statistic to be, super interesting. And that's when I pitched it to HGTV Canada, and we had the show By Herself about this.
So that was your brainchild. You actually went to them and said, hey, I got this idea.
Yeah. And they loved it. And so we did the show. So what happened working with women buying real estate? And, I hate to generalize, but these situations actually happened repeatedly. I like to say there are 3 categories of women. Women who, never have it on their radar that they should become independent or create their own destiny or, consider buying property. The second group of women who are starting to think about it, kick around the idea, do some research, and start toying with the idea. Should I? Could I? What would happen if I did? And then the third group of women are the women who have spent the time researching, saving their money for a down payment. Now they're ready to go. So I had a couple of women like in a row that were in that top category that they were ready to go. These women had saved a lot of money. I'm talking 200 grand after tax dollars. Like, that's not easy when you're living in Toronto. Absolutely. I don't care who you are. So they had been planning it for a long time. They had done their research. We met. I like to bring buyers into the office to have a calm, relaxed conversation. This is what you can expect. This is what you can expect from me, and so on. They knocked it out of the park. They were I was so excited for them. I was like, wow, these women really have their act together. This is awesome. And I remember the first one, we worked together. And so she had limited her budget because I find that women are quite frugal and safety conscious, very cautious when it comes to spending the money on real estate, which is, the opposite of the stereotype about women. We can't control money and
the shopping thing and everything else. Yeah. As you bring that up, I kind of think to myself, wait a second. No.
So we sat down, we talked about it. What if I want to have a child? So, she had decided she would get a condo. It would be, affordable price. She was going to, and her mortgage would be affordable, property taxes, maintenance fees, all that stuff affordable. And we're going to get a den in case she does want to start a family. No problem. She could do all of this. And she knew roughly what location she wanted. So we started working. And right at that time, the location she started looking in, condos just exploded in value. And it was a scenario similar to what we've gone through recently but this was several years ago. It seemed like every week the prices were going up. So if you bought, 508 on Monday, next Monday, 608 would be $5,000 more. Like, we saw this happening. It took 3 months to find something. She wanted something a little bit bigger than normal, a little bit outside the norm. So when we walked in, I was excited about this property. David, I see properties every day. When I get excited about a property, it's because there's something really good about it. It's like above average. And she could recognize that. It was hitting everything on her checklist. So she started wigging out a little bit, right? She started freaking out because now, we had pulled this rabbit out of the hat, and she's like, oh, wow. She had offered on a couple of properties and lost. So she had raised her budget because it wasn't the bank that was saying you can only have this much. It was her keeping because sometimes buyers of all sites, they focus on the big number. Like, what is the price? And I mean, nobody wants to pay $1 million. Nobody wants to pay $500,000. So don't focus on that number. But she had raised her budget a little bit, self-imposed budget. And I said, you know what? this is going to take all of that. It's going to take your full budget because you can see it's bigger. It has this extraordinary feature. It's not easy to come by, blah, blah, blah. And it started to scare her. So she started asking questions like, well, what if I have a baby? I'm like, okay, we talked about that. We talked about that. That's why we're looking at places with dens and you wanted this. And I was like very calmly reminding her of all the things we had talked about, the decisions that she had made when she was calm and rational and had time to think it through. But now she was pulling all that stuff out of the air. And then she went back and she went to her sphere of influence, her circle of influence, right? Mm-hmm. And she was asking questions. Now, here's where it gets really tricky, David. If I go as a daughter to one of my parents and I want to do this scary thing, sometimes the parent will still be in protector mode, no matter how old you are. They're still in protector mode. So they have this little twinge of like, oh my gosh, what should I advise her? Is this safe for her? Oh, my little girl could be, oh, my little girl's all grown up. Whatever it is, there's a little twinge of energy that you pick up imperceptibly. You pick it up. And if you're looking for the answer no, you might just perceive that as no. So whatever happened, she went to her circle of influence and she kept asking until she got the answer she thought she wanted at that time, which was no. So she got a no. So she stopped. She held back money and she lost it for $3,000. Right? Oh. Now, yeah, I was heartbroken for her because we had found this sort of unicorn listing and it could have been hers. It was well within her affordability, but she allowed her false beliefs and old beliefs to stop her. She allowed her fear essentially to stop her. Now, tragically, that year, those condos that she was looking at went up some crazy amount. I want to say 30%. She could have made $132,000 that year, tax-free dollars on your principal residence, right? Wow. So yeah, so heartbreaking because what happens is once you stop when you're at that level, you won't start again. Do you know what I mean?
I totally understand what you're saying here. Okay, so let me ask you a question on that then. And sorry to take it off of that story. But cool. On that, when we talk about home ownership, I mean, like you talk about $500,000 and $1 million. Yeah, where? Right? Like in our market today, it is even more than that. Yeah. To get not a lot anymore. And it's more money than most of us 20 years ago thought we'd ever spend on a piece of real estate. Mm-hmm. Right? So as it's getting harder and harder to achieve home ownership, how important is it to be advising people about, what we feel is right, what we feel is wrong, what's a good move, what's not a good move, or I mean, we've seen in this market that there's some people that just treat this as a job and kind of go, hey, listen, I'm here to help you buy and sell. I'm not here to, tell you not to do anything, or I'm not really concerned about your long-term. I'm just here to help you get whatever it is you want. So let's just do this. So we look at how hard it is to get home ownership and the role we play. What's the important part of that right there from our aspect? Should we just treat it like a job, or do we really need to be thinking bigger picture, longer term for people? And I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, and it's an interesting conversation around that, right? Because this is
it's a great question
as well.
It's a great question. Personally, I'm too opinionated about real estate to let someone make a mistake, what I think is a mistake, without me presenting the data to them so that they can make an informed choice. I think our job as a realtor is to decipher the data, right? However, there are some clients that don't want my input. And I have to respect that. That's what they want or don't want. It's totally up to them. Most of the time, though, I find that buyers and sellers, they think they know what they need. They think they know what they want, but it's not necessarily going to pan out that way. It's not necessary that it's actually unusual if something goes like tickety-boo, buy the book. It's not a recipe that you just follow. I mean, every situation is unique. The buyer's unique. The seller's unique. The agents are unique. The house is unique. The market conditions, this moment are unique. So, no two deals are identical, right? So there are people who just want an agent to put a key in the door, sadly, just put a key in the door and answer a few questions. And if that's what they want, that's what we should give them. However, there are other ways, and you know this, David, there are other ways to present the information to them in a way that is not pushy, that is not, you should do this. It's just like illuminating things for them that they may be overlooking, right? Because everybody knows a little bit about real estate. And if you think of a pie graph, this is my favorite. If you think of a pie graph, a circle, there's a little sliver in there that is buyers or sellers know stuff about real estate. Then there's another sliver that's maybe 2 or 3 times the size of that one. And that's what they know they don't know, right? So that's why they come to a professional.
And the rest is what they don't know.
What you don't know. And this is with everything, not just real estate. When you hire a professional, all the stuff you don't know, like you go to a lawyer, sure, you know the law, but you don't know the ins and outs, right? That's why you get a good lawyer.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think what it is when we look at, again, the prices that are out there and the fact that people want to do an upgrade or a downgrade or whatever it is, the fact that they don't know what they don't know. Now it's this thing of they're just going based on this whim, this thought, this moment in time. And I really do believe that responsibility does lie on us in some way, shape, or form to present that data, to help them decipher that data so that at least they make a good decision. Because look, we want to talk sales, bottom line sales, like, hey, this is longevity of our business. You do a good job for these people. You keep them more or less safe. You help advise them in the right way. What are they going to do? They're going to feel good. They're going to feel confident. They're going to tell people about you, period. If you go the other way and you're like, yeah, you got to go for it. Just do it. And you're sitting there going, how much am I making? This is beautiful. And then it gets done. If they realize they made a mistake or something goes wrong or they're just not happy, where's the path of least resistance? It is your fault.
But you know what, David, when you're dealing with people in any industry, it can be soul wrenching, like soul destroying. It could destroy your soul, like the energy output.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So
it's a lot.
You've got to find joy in the job.
Yeah.
And hopefully the joy is to really do a good job for these people. And this is where I say,
do a good job and not just get paid.
Yeah. Like otherwise, you know what? It's just deal. There's, easier deals to do than this business. This business is tough. Sorry, real estate is not an easy. Now, I'm not going to put the rose-colored glasses on for anyone. So I tell brand new agents, like, it is not an easy business. So unless you find the joy, you're not going to last. You want to just come in for 3, 4, 5 years, take money from people, then that's you as a human being. It's sad if that is reflected on the entire industry, because that's not the way it is for most people. Definitely not in my brokerage. I never would. That person wouldn't last in my brokerage. Everybody in my brokerage, for example, really cares. We call it the brokerage with heart. Yeah. Because in my logo, there's a little heart, but between the S and the R. But honestly, I learned that early on in the industry. And I came from retail. Mm-hmm. So, I had retail. Wow. My years in retail really prepared me for real estate with the people element, because this is the business we're in. We're not selling brick and mortar. Yeah, we are. That's part of the business. But the real business is communication and relationships with people. And if you can do that, it's such a brilliant life. The people love you. You go to bed at night, you look in the mirror and you go, you know what, Sandra, you did a good job today. And you go to bed with that smile on your face, feeling satisfied. You need to get the satisfaction from the job.
Okay, let's talk satisfaction here, because in your book, you talk about goals. And right when I read that, I'm like, oh, give it to me. I want to hear this stuff, because I'm again, my audience knows this. I've told this story probably every single show. No, I mean, anytime goals comes up, but never one to used to set goals. That changed a number of years ago. And I've got now a long list of wicked jaw-dropping stories that you would go, really? And you're like, yeah, I just put it on a vision board. I set the goals and I went at it and look. People are like, really? But you talk about setting goals. You talk about finding your why, having a vision. Mm-hmm. From your side, I want to hear, tell us more about this. Why are you, and I can tell you why but I want to know, why are you such a believer in all of this, this sort of mantra of goal setting and doing things? And I guess, how can other people empower themselves with that same way of thinking? And how do we even tie this back to owning a home, buying a home, owning a home, whatever, helping others own a home? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So thank you for the question. And I do want to hear all your stories.
We haven't got time for it. It's a long list. So I'll tell you, set goals because it works.
Well, manifesting, you're manifesting them, right?
100%. You were.
So I never had goals when I was younger. And then when I got into real estate, I don't know, I did a business plan and you're an entrepreneur. I did a business plan and I started to see that, I tell this to my new agents too, like the half the year for me wasn't the end of June. Like I don't want to make 50% of my goal income goal by the end of June, like today, June 30th, but I do want to do 60%. Yep. So I would look at it and I would keep track, right? And because, when you're in the business, when you're working at the business, you're not necessarily focused on your cash flow or your income and the bills you have to pay. That's not a happy way to live. And that's not how you serve your client, right? We've talked about this. Mm-hmm. So, every couple of months or whatever, I'd write down what I did and the transactions and stuff like that. And if I was behind, all of a sudden, stuff would happen. Good stuff. And like you say, when you focus on it, it starts to happen for you, right? Yep. So I've got story after story, but I've got this, I think I put it in the book too. I know I put it in the book. It's the Mario Andretti story. Did you hear that one? Mm-hmm. So real quick story on this. I love to this day auto racing. So Mario Andretti was in my awareness since I was like 5 years old. Okay. So at that time he was running, he wasn't Formula One or IndyCar or anything at that time. He wasn't a champ yet. So always knew him, always loved racing, and he's an icon. He truly is an icon, a legend in the industry. Oh, so absolutely. I said to one of my friends, we were talking one day and I said, oh yeah, I went on the racetrack. We rented this track and we had these race cars out there. We were going around the racing. Oh my gosh, it was so thrilling. I came off, my t-shirt was soaked and I was shaking. I needed to eat a sandwich. And she's like, you like that? I'm like, do I like that? Are you kidding? If I could get into a race car on the same track as Mario Andretti and do 2 laps, you could open the car door and shoot me dead. I would die a happy, satisfied one. Like, wow, you are whack. So she had no interest in racing. A year and a half later, she ends up in the race industry, working for a team in hospitality. She sets me up to go pick up Mario Andretti at the airport. Come on. Private jet. I drove him around in his golf cart around exhibition ground, CNE, to do autograph sessions and stuff like that. I sat down, had private conversations with him. The guy's so worldly. I was in the track. I was in the pit when the track was hot. It was a dream come true. Get this though. At the last minute, I get offered to go into a pace car. And I got in the pace car with Mario Andretti and we did 2 laps around the racetrack. That is wicked. He had retired from driving by then. 2 laps in the pace car. And it wasn't till years later that it actually dawned on me that conversation, and I said that to quite a few people, but that passion, that energy that I put into it to say that story and to really, really feel it, never ever thought it would come true. It came true. Now, here's the interesting thing, and you know this too. It didn't look like what I had envisioned. I thought I was going to be in an Indy car, right? And Mario Andretti be at the other end of the track, not even know I exist. I was in a pace car with Mario.
That's crazy. That is wild. What a story.
Right? So super cool story. All these kinds of, like you said, manifestation stories and, goal setting, super important. But to start, you got to be aware of where you are. Where you are. And then where you want to go. Where you want to go. Right. Because if you don't know where you want to go, and I've said this to everybody, and I use this example all the time, right? And I'll do it with you right now, just for everybody that's tuned in. But, can you come over right now? No. Why? I can't come to your house? Well, in my house, could you come over? Like, if time permitted, would you be able to come over? I could come over, yeah. Okay, cool. Do you know where I am? No. How are you going to get here? Exactly. Okay, so what if I give you the address? Could you come here? Yes, I could. What if you've never been here before? How would you? I would use my GPS. Perfect. That's exactly it, right? So I bring it together that simply and say, so you need to know where the address is if you actually want to get there. And I think everybody is probably going, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, cool. So now that we got the address, but you've never been there before, how are you going to get there? Map that shit out. That's right.
Map it out, know exactly where you want to go. And now you're going to know to turn left. You're going to know to turn right. You know, you drive straight, drive for this long. You'll get here. Just follow the rule. Just follow the directions. So what are the directions? Well, the directions are those small little baby steps you're going to take to actually get to that destination. And some of it is just having the conversation like you said. Some of it I'm going to say is seeing it and visualizing it. Like I did that to my wife on Saturday night. I said, come up. I want to show you something. And I showed her our vision board. And there's a picture on the vision board of something. And I won't share it yet because I still got to make it sort of finalize it. But there's a picture up there of something. And I showed her the picture of the other thing I'm working on. And she went like, oh my God. And to what you just said, it's not identical, but it is so close that you're like, yeah, those are the two. And she had done that to me 3 years ago, coming off a stage somewhere. We were sitting in an airport and she showed me a picture of me on stage with a lot of people in front. And then she showed me this picture we had on the vision board, which was something that she kind of concocted of like graphics and putting it together to kind of go like, this will be it. She made that picture and then she somehow took that picture. I don't know. I can't explain it. I can just tell you if you put your head down, focus, you can bring it to life. Now, totally
can't
different.
Explain it, but
you can't. You can't.
But wouldn't you rather try it?
Oh my God, yeah.
Right?
What did I say to you? What did I say to you before? I wasn't that guy before.
I know.
I wasn't that guy. So it didn't come to life the way you wanted it to.
You didn't know you were a witch.
There you go. Okay, here. Totally different topic. So many people are scared to leverage video for their business. And they, they don't like how they look. They don't like how they sound, yet, and I bet many, in fact, probably most, in fact, maybe nobody. I don't know if anybody has as funny of a story as maybe you do when it comes to like, hey, just get over it. This is show business. You remember that one? So can you tell us about bad hair days and your first audition when it came to television? And I want to find a takeaway moment from all of this, but I thought it was an amazing story. And I have to say, I was laughing just picturing when Gary was laughing.
Oh my God.
I was reading the book and you were explaining that. I started chuckling. I'm like, oh, that must have been hilarious. Now, just to bring it back for everybody that's tuned in, the idea here is I'm asking Sandra to share, about this comfort around video. But anyways, you've got the story. I'll let you go from there for a second.
Yeah. Well, nobody loves the way they sound or hear, sound or look on video. Very few people, right? So, so they were coming to film me, and I'm actually very calm. I'm excitable, but I'm a calm person. And in a crisis, I'm usually extremely calm and I can figure out the solution to a problem. However, when there's a television crew involved and I've never been on TV before, all that goes out the window. So here I am fixing my hair. I had a haircut and the week before the stylist had done some really cute little flip. So I wanted to do this flip. So my hair looked really good. And I'm standing in my bathroom with just my bra and underwear on. And if in this house that we were in at that time, if I stepped outside of my bathroom, you could see me from the front door. The front door was glass. There was a wooden door, but it was open. We always kept it open. So the glass door. So you could see me in my bra and underwear if I came out of the bathroom. So I'm doing my hair and it looked pretty good, I have to say. And, but my bangs were just like, they were 90%. They weren't quite 100%. So I went into my little box of hair stuff that I had collected over the years. And I found this brush that I hadn't used in eons. So it was a skinny little brush about the size of my finger. And I rolled up my bangs real tight so that the brush is like sticking into my skin. And, I sprayed it with hairspray that you can hang wallpaper with, that stuff, man, like totally. And I took the hair dryer and I'm blowing it dry, right? And I put the hair dryer down and I'm feeling really confident and I go to pull out the brush. It's what? And I'm like, oh my God, like this, right? So now I'm sweating and I could hear Gary downstairs talking to a client on the phone. And we had an office down there and oh my God, Gary, help me. So I'm like trying to pull out one hair at a time and I'm trying to get this brush out of my hair. And it's actually giving me a headache because it's like pushing right into my scalp. And I'm like, okay, so I run over. Okay, so past the glass door, run over to my laptop and I type an email to Gary because he's on the phone with the client. I don't want to interrupt him. So, and I don't have time to run downstairs. Like they're coming now. And I type.
Camera crew is on the way to your house.
They're going to come any minute. Like if they were coming at 1:00, it was 2 minutes to 1 now. just enough time to get dressed. So I go to my laptop and I type, come to bathroom ASAP. Just subject line, no text, right? I don't know about you, but I probably wouldn't come running to the bathroom if somebody typed me that. Okay. Sorry, honey, didn't get that email. Well, that's what he did. So I hear he's off the phone and I'm still trying. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm like, these bangs are like pretty integral to the look, right? So I'm freaking out and he's not coming. So I start yelling, Gary. So he comes up and I'm in the bathroom and I've got this brush in my head and I'm sweating profusely and I'm pulling it and he thought I was joking. And then as soon as he discovered that I was actually serious about this and I had this brush stuck in my hair, he bent over, no sound, no breathing. He was laughing so hard. And look, I knew it was hysterical. I knew it was hysterically funny. But at that moment, I had a camera
was not
crew.
Funny. Yeah.
So I just said, I got to cut the brush out.
Oh, no.
So the hair was like a centimeter long from here to here. And I had to do a really bad comb over and they show up. And God bless her. She was so professional. I said, you may as well go home. She said, why? I said, I had a hair accident.
No.
She looks at my hair and she goes, oh yeah, I thought something looked different. Oh, no. We're doing this audition. I'm like, oh my God, mortified. Okay. So later that night, I told my sister and she said, and I got the job. Like, it's for property.
I read that part of the book.
She said, they gave you the job anyway? I'm like, I guess, I don't know. So, oh my God, one of my worst moments. I kept that brush, David, with the hair. There was at least 6 inches of hair in there. I kept it until last year.
Okay. So hold on then. I'm going to parlay this for us. Okay.
All righty.
Because this leads into the whole thing about, personal beliefs and making up stories and imagining what could be, or maybe just instead of rolling with it or even bringing it to life. But let's talk about that for a second. Because again, the book talks about it and very much this is a very similar scenario there where here you are missing this so-called integral part of the do, which, and I don't even say that joke, I get it, right? But these limiting beliefs that hold us back and how much power that they have to control our thoughts and our actions and how we do things.
Oh, yeah.
How do we get past? How did you get past? How do we get past this way of limiting ourselves to really go beyond our comfort zone? Because look, we've got people that will not come on a Zoom meeting when we do a collective Zoom, because, hey, fine, maybe you're scrolling Facebook or maybe you're multitasking. Maybe you're not really there. You just signed in. But there are others who go, I just don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. And they're not even the ones talking or presenting.
I know.
Yet here you are, about to literally go for a television interview for a show, which you probably only get one sort of chance at this audition. You realize that part of your front of your hair is gone. They recognize it. They even say it. And they're like, okay, action, go ahead.
I know.
But seriously, it takes a lot of strength and willpower to get past that and say, you know what, I'm going to be who I am. How did you do that?
As a younger person, I'm not sure how I would have handled it. I think I had more confidence than I give myself credit for than I remember. Well,
there's the question. How do we become more confident then maybe?
Yeah.
That's the question, right?
Yeah. And I'd like to say experience, but there are ways to become more confident. For example, you've got to find a way to tap into who you really are. I don't care who you are, no matter what role you're playing, because we play all kinds of roles. We've got all kinds of labels: daughter, mother, sister, teacher, employer, girlfriend, whatever our labels are, whatever religion we are, whatever, all these other labels that we give ourselves. But really, like, who are we? Who am I? What do I want? And this is so difficult. When I started real estate, I was, in my early 30s, and I was asking myself, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because I had gone through a lot. The company that I had been working for, they closed down during that recession. And, so I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. That was really hard. That was I'm not going to say the first time in my life that I actually sat down and asked myself, what do I really want? Because now I was free. I had no constraints. I didn't have anybody to tell me what I should do or how I should do it. Now I had free will. We're born with free will, but somehow we give up our power and we become slaves to whatever labels we allow people to put on us. Not that they put them on us. We take on the label. We believe the label. So you got to get rid of the labels and you've got to determine who you are. So that's where the awareness comes in, right? Then when you're calm and you have this inner strength that is so powerful, it's just that we shut it up all the time. We don't pay attention to it. When you can tap into that, then you're confident. You don't need confidence doesn't even exist. You are who you are and you're true to that. And what I learned over the years, David, was when I feel things in my solar plexus. So when I learned to listen to that feeling, to listen to the physiological reaction that I'm having, anytime I didn't pay attention to it or I went against it, it didn't work out. It was either a disaster or just mildly not good for me, right? So every time I've listened to my gut, that's where I feel it. Everybody's different. You might feel it in your head, wherever. You might get a sore knee. I don't know. When you feel it, act on it. Then know that it is aligned with you. It is aligned with you and your true self.
So what if you want it so bad and you have that feeling, but you can't decipher the feeling? Is it saying go for it or is it saying don't go for it?
Well, then that's where you have to get into that place where you're focused on what your goal is, the thing that you want so badly, and then see how you feel then. That's the thing, because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise outside and there's a lot of noise inside. So you do have to be able to understand, when I focus on this, how do I feel? If it makes you happy, if it feels good, then that's the thing. But here's the thing, David, when you're going after this thing, it may not be smooth sailing. Right. So then you're like second guessing yourself. Maybe it was don't do it. No. Know yourself. Become aware. Shed light on all of those false beliefs. What do you think? Then shed light on it. Why do you think that way? Well, because I grew up in a family that thought that way. They probably never said to you, and this is what I used to think. I used to think they never said to you, Sandra, you can't do that. But I felt that I couldn't do it, because it wasn't done in the family. I worked with a woman who, she was in her 30s, late 30s, and she wanted to buy her own place, but she hadn't told her parents. She still lived at home. It was in their culture. That's what you do. And I understand that. Mediterranean parents, right? I understand that. Mm-hmm. She was afraid to tell them that she was going to buy her own place. She was afraid for the backlash because she thought they would try to stop her. So she never told them. And that in itself stopped her. So she never moved forward with her dream of owning her own place because of the perceived, what she thought was going to happen. Right. But she knew she wanted it. So had she taken the step and taking action, it doesn't matter all the goals in the world. If you don't take action, those small little, you said the how to, the little small step, right, turn left. If you don't take action, you're not going to go anywhere.
So speaking of taking action, I know that over the years you have built this real estate career of yours into this full-fledged empire. And with a lot of moving parts that come with it. And you just opened, like, I don't know when, today, yesterday kind of thing, but just opened your brokerage. Let's tell everybody more about that, because I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people that are sort of tuning and going, I like this lady. But tell me this, tell us more about the broker for a moment, make the announcement by all means. And then let's go there for a sec. How did you know that it was the right time? And I think you might have just told us that answer, but yeah, is this something that other people should consider too? I mean, should they think about that? And if not, opening a brokerage, maybe starting a team. What are your thoughts on all this? I mean, as you share this announcement with us.
Yeah. So I'm proud to announce that we have aligned with the voice of Canadian real estate, Royal Lepage Terrequity Rinomato. We opened essentially yesterday. So I'm really happy. Thank you, David, for allowing me to mention where we are. Thanks. We're still in the same location, right in High Park, 1820 Bloor. What made the decision for me, we're going to go back to this whole manifesting thing. Mm-hmm. It's our lives. Okay. We create our destinies, right? So David, I like to have a hand in every pot. I was writing a book, starting a course, training agents, selling real estate, doing whatever else I'm doing. And I realized I needed to focus on the brokerage. So my husband, Gary, he took over the selling of real estate for both of us. And that allowed me the time to focus just on the brokerage. And what happens is all of these pieces to this multi-piece puzzle come together. And one thing after another led me to make the move. Now, what's really interesting is when I'm going to get a little woo out there, but when the universe gives you a sign, and you're not paying attention.
We could call it all the woo-woo we want. I'm a believer.
Awesome. It's going to give you another sign. But this sign isn't going to be the little, hey. It's going to be like a hey. And then it's going to be, hey. It's going to smack you upside the head until you listen. And it will force your hand. So it definitely wasn't at the forced hand yet, but it was becoming a stronger and stronger and clear message. And I truly believe it's because I started to focus on the brokerage and things started to align with my goal for the brokerage. Is it right for everyone? Tell you something, just like the real estate industry, it's not easy, but ask yourself why you want to do it. Why do you want to do it? Honestly, I was driving to work the other day and I had listened to something or read something the day before and then had gone to bed. And it said, if you didn't have to work, would you still do the job you're doing? And the honest answer was, hell yeah. I love this. I love being able to focus on this. I love helping my agents. I love answering the questions. I love growing the business. I love everything I'm doing. So my sister said, well, you're really lucky. You're really blessed. And I'm like, am I, or did I create that? I believe we create that. Sure, there were a lot of mistakes along the line. There were a lot of unhappy days and years and months and whatever along the line. But then when you click onto something, just be aware. It was like, it dawned on me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I mean, I do that anyway. I'm a happy person and I'm just buzzing with happiness, the joy, the bliss. For me, it was always something as simple as seeing a mare with her foal and the foal's kicking up his feet in the meadow. That would make me so happy, but I could go there in my mind anytime I wanted to be happy. It's like you create your own happiness, right? You're responsible for your own happiness. You and I you and I are very similar, but you could take two people seeing the same thing. And one person will say, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I'm so happy. It brings a tear of happiness to my face. And the other guy's going, that's brutal for whatever reason. So your perception, that's the lens that you see the world through, right? It doesn't matter what the external circumstances are to a certain extent. It doesn't matter. It's how are you perceiving it? How are you translating that data? How are you deciphering that data for yourself?
It's all choices. And I'm actually going to circle back to that in a second. But on the topic of the brokerage for a moment, and just Sandra in the real estate world, I want to rapid fire a couple of questions here. Yeah. One, where does most of your business come from? People you know or people you don't know over the duration of your career?
People I know.
Perfect. Thank you. In terms of marketing channels, I imagine TV was obviously a help, but just a piece of. There's obviously a lot of other things that you do for marketing, but in a nutshell, are you leveraging social media?
Oh yeah.
Is it more about the organic and connecting with people? Is it more about the spending?
No, it's about organic. I have to be authentic. I had to be authentic on TV. That's why it resonated with people. If it had been scripted and somebody else telling me what to say, I couldn't do it anyways. I'm not an actor. And you're sharing your voice rather than somebody else sharing your voice. That's right.
Okay,
that's
cool.
Right.
And that's obviously working out. Digital advertising, are you a believer in sort of the whole pay for the online lead thing? Or is this more about, again, work your network? Or maybe
I do
both at this point?
I'd say both. Absolutely. Okay. Both are important.
Cool. Okay. Now on that then, if we said, we've talked a lot about mindset, and I know we've got a big message specifically geared around, even empowering women. But I know also that as I was going through the book, a lot of that is just applicable to just anybody in a general sense. It's very applicable to everybody. But, what overall advice do you have for anybody here that's in the industry trying to make a name for themselves?
In real estate?
Yeah.
Definitely find the joy in the job because that's who you are. It'll resonate not only with you and make you happy to get out of bed every morning and, jump in your car in February when it's dark at 4:30 and it's black ice and you're with your family at the dinner table. But it'll also resonate with your clients. And you know what? You're never going to bat 1,000. You're never going to be the realtor that everybody needs. You are going to find clients that don't like the way you work. Let it go. We're humans. They want something different. And David, go back to one of your first comments, which was, maybe they just want the guy to put the key in the door and write up the deal for them. Yep. Don't know, right? So whatever it is, and here's another thing. If you don't trust your client, or if your client doesn't trust you, that is an uphill battle that nobody ever wins. Don't waste your energy on that. As a realtor, you don't get paid until the client buys or sells a property, right? So if it's an uphill battle and you've wasted all this energy and at the end of the day, they just don't trust you enough to continue with you, why would you do that? You get to pick your own clients. You're not obligated to work with anyone. And this is life. Don't do anything out of a sense of duty because that's slavery.
If they're not your people, understand that they are not your people, right?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You offer a course. I noticed that as well. I know you talked about it. Tell us more about that just for anybody here. If it's applicable to the audience, feel free, please. I know that, share that with us. So what's the course about very quickly?
So the course, when I wrote the book, I realized that it could easily go from self-help to shelf help. You put it on the shelf.
Okay.
You never read it. Maybe just read the first paragraph. I don't know. I've got a lot of those books. So I also know, having worked closely with, and I specifically targeted women for this book because I think with marketing, sometimes you have to call out the target demographics name. It's like, hey, you single woman. Hey, you Shelly,
Well, we know with marketing, you're always, your first step is figuring out your niche. Who's your audience?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I niched it right down, but you're right. It's applicable to everybody, but I can speak as a woman who had false beliefs. And so that's what I wrote about, but it is something that everyone could learn from. But if you're just going to read the book once and not do the work, it's not going to work. If you're not even going to read the book or just read, as I said, a paragraph, it's not going to work. I know that people need more help. So I created different levels of the program, the course, so that you could get anything from just watching recordings to actually having me on speed dial and say, oh my gosh, Sandra, what do I do? Because the lessons you learn in the course, in the book, can be applied to all aspects of your life. It's not just to buy a house. Okay. I know that, sometimes we think this obstacle is insurmountable and we've made up that obstacle in our minds. So as soon as you shed light on it, you go, well, that's pretty stupid. I mean, I've had that myself. It's like, well, that's stupid. You've already dealt with that once, twice, 3 times. Why would it be a problem now? Get rid of it. And then you have clear air in front of you, right? So we build these obstacles. So the tools, the skills, the confidence, knowing yourself, knowing what you want, knowing how to tap into what you want. All of that will, fuel you for the rest of your life. And you know this, David, it's daily work for the rest of your life because you turn your back on that garden. Guess what? The weeds grow. And before you know it, if you don't go back and tend that garden, it's just going to be a garden filled with weeds. And the weeds, of course, are your false beliefs.
I like that reference to the garden. I don't know that I've heard that one before, but it is so logical. Great way to spin that. And in fact, there was another reference in the book that you use, in fact, to the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, that said, and I will quote it, when you are successful, you become the sign of hope of the optimist, but to the pessimist, you represent the stink of his own failure.
Exactly.
I mentioned a moment ago, I want to go back to choices here. Let's talk choices and how they affect our outcome.
Well, you make choices all day long. You make choices almost every minute of every day, right? And they affect you. There's consequences with every choice. Sometimes they're brilliant consequences. Sometimes not so much. And sometimes they're non-issue, right? Like what you're going to order at the restaurant. Sometimes people deliberate over this and then they have food envy. They're like, oh, I knew I should have ordered that other one, right? So back to that quote for a second, that was really eye-opening for me I had they sent a coach when I first started on Property Virgins. They sent a talent coach. And all he did was he filmed me on camera, and I was completely natural, like I am right now. You can't hold me down. And he said, just don't change anything. What do you want to talk about? I'm like, oh, okay. So I said, I'm going on to TV. What should I expect? And you know what he said to me? He said, people around you are going to change. I said, really? He says, yeah. And I'm talking people very close to you are going to change. And they're going to say you changed, but you're probably not going to change. So it's going to be them, and it's going to be them. They're either going to be really excited for your success, right? Mm-hmm. So for the optimist, it's going to be like the beacon of hope, or it's going to remind them of their own failure, because they're judging. People are judging themselves against you. They're using you as a benchmark. It's like, what? Sandra is superior to me now? Now I feel inferior. I want to feel superior to her. Or I just like it when everybody's just mediocre. Mediocrity is the name of the game, right? We're taught mediocrity from day one in school. Sorry, I shouldn't blame the school system. It's society that teaches us mediocrity. And so it's them. It's not you, it's them is really the truth. And he said, and shortly after that, I went to a holiday party, and somebody that I've known since I was 16 was talking to me, and he was like, yeah, I don't have a mortgage, and well, I don't have to work, and I don't know. And I'm like, why is this guy talking like that's gross? First of all, we never talk about that stuff. And I started to realize I was making him feel bad about his life. And there's story after story. I write about them in the book. And thank you for reading the book, by the way.
Thank you for sending the book, right, by the way. I was very happy to see that.
And it's just, other people's agenda should have zero effect on you. And that's where you have to go inside. Okay,
wait. So then how do we stop ourselves from thinking like a victim to overcome those obstacles?
Because you've got to take responsibility for yourself. And how do you do that? You have to become aware of what you think, how you think, your choices you're making. Why did you make that choice? What's important to you? I have people that want to buy, far, far away because they want that 3-car garage and the this and the that. And I'm like, but you work. It's going to take you an hour and a half to get to work. And then God forbid there's a snowstorm or rain, and they say, no, it's for the kids and the 3-car garage and everything. And then they're miserable because they're spending 15, 20 hours a week traveling to work. So how's that helping the kids now? How's that working out for you? Now you're losing at least 10 hours that you could have been spending with your kids. So how does that work out? So it's the choice that you make. What's driving that choice? Like when people used to say, well, it doesn't have the stainless steel appliances, that really threw me for a loop. Like you can go to Leon's or wherever. I shouldn't say a brand name, but you can go anywhere and buy stainless steel appliances. If it's not this year, it's next year. You make a new goal for yourself. And the thing is, they didn't feel that other people would like their choice, appreciate the choice they made if it didn't have stainless steel. I'm like, you're buying real estate? Are you kidding me? The last 5 years in real estate in Toronto, people doubled their home values, sometimes more than doubled their home. So if you did buy for $500,000 5 years ago, now it's worth roughly $1 million. And if that was your principal res, that profit, that equity is tax-free. Oh my gosh, if that's not wealth building. So what are you worried about stupid appliances for?
Well, okay. So what if I make a mistake? I'm worried about making a mistake.
And that's what everybody's worried about.
Are we allowed?
That's what everybody's worried about.
Right.
So that goes back to your gut feeling or wherever you feel it. Does it make you happy? And I've often said this to clients, especially buyers. When you come home after working and you walk into your space, after you've decorated it and made it your little nest, how are you going to feel? Just visualize how you will feel for a minute. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to be
that
happy.
Ultimate feeling right there, that moment is everything you've wanted.
Yeah.
Then the rest of it doesn't matter. Go for it.
The problem is, though, sometimes people want a laundry list of stuff that just isn't feasible right now. And that laundry list of stuff, like stainless steel appliances, I'm sorry, I'm beating up on them right now, is not essential to your happiness. Let's get a grip. That is not essential to your happiness. What are the reasons why you're buying real estate or selling real estate? Is the stainless steel fridge going to make a difference? What are the reasons why you want to buy real estate? And I do a 7 levels deep when I can. It's 7 levels deep why exercise? Because the reason why, I don't know how much time we have left, but like if somebody says to me, I want to buy a house with a backyard, and I go, oh, that's cool. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Why? Because I want to get a dog. Oh, I love dogs. I totally get that. And we often, as the realtor, we assume we know why they want that. Mm-hmm. But if you start digging down and then you find out that they came from a different city and everybody told them they couldn't live in Toronto, it's too expensive and you're going to fail. And that job that you're moving for probably isn't going to pan out. And you're not smart enough. You're not rich enough. You're not young enough. You're not old enough. Whatever it is, they always have something to say that you're not something enough. Just fill in the blanks. And you did it anyways. But now you're starting to feel a little bit lonely. And you're starting to waver on your commitment to yourself, which is your career. Okay. But you know that if you had that dog, that would be your buddy because you grew up with a dog and this is your companion. You can go running late at night and feel safe. Somebody's there to welcome you at home. And it gives you a reason to get up in the morning and go to High Park or wherever you're going. And you would feel really good about that. And, you've made some friends here. Pandemic was hard. People at work they're okay, but they're kind of weird. And you can't develop those relationships that you had back home because they're lifelong friends. They're your family. You're here alone. So all of those reasons are why you want a home with a backyard. That's very different than I want to get a dog. And that understanding of yourself and me understanding your driving factor is going to help you get to your goal faster and go over, around, burst through those obstacles that are going to come up because they're going to come up. Right? No matter how much planning you've done and how secure you are, I'm ready to go. There's going to be something that's going to present as an obstacle because that's how you're perceiving it. But if you can tap into the real reason why you want that home with a backyard or whatever it is on your list, then you'll get it. You'll find a way to get it. And as we said earlier, may not look exactly like what you're thinking, but it'll probably be better.
And the learning moment on that, or one of the learning moments on that, and this goes on both sides. If you're the one making the decision for yourself, ask yourself the open-ended questions. If you're the realtor on the other side and you're helping somebody figure it out, ask the open-ended questions. That question of why, tell me more, how. So, what would you feel? Get people talking, and that'll get to the depths of what we're trying to achieve. Speaking of achieve. And I'm watching the clock there. A couple questions here, but one of my favorites. How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Yeah, well, I had moments of joy or a whole day of joy. And the joy could come from seeing a smile on someone's face like you just smiled. Because I know I did a good job for you. Like, not you, David, but I know if you're my
client. You've done phenomenal. It's been amazing.
Or one of my agents in my office. I know I resolved a problem. I love solving problems. Oh my gosh. I live for solving problems. Okay. Except for the hair and the brush. But
hey, you solved it. Cut it off and get downstairs on time.
And somebody gave me, just in case that ever happens to you people, get a set of pliers and pull out the parts of the brush that are sticking out. Anyways, if I helped someone, even, I remember a long, long time ago, I put parking meter, I fed the meter and I was like dressed up and I came out and I was on the sidewalk and there was this old man, he was hunched over with his walker and he was looking down at the ground. And I said, "Good morning, sir." And he looked up and he saw this woman saying good morning to him. And he instantly stood up and he's like, "Good morning, good morning." You know what? It's 20 years later and I still remember that. It was more important for me than him probably, but I'm sure I made his morning, right? So just something as simple as that, people. Just live in joy. Share the joy.
I coach my baseball team and I tell my team, because they're 10-year-olds, that a good batting average in baseball is 300. That's like a really good batting average, which means you hit 3 out of 10 baseballs. Yeah. And we've got to prep these guys, right? Because they're just getting into pitching for the first time. In fact, they play their first official game tonight, exhibition, but they're pitching for the first time. It's a whole new world for these guys. And there's going to be a lot of disappointment around not getting the strikeouts and not hitting the ball. But again, we explain these percentages. And I bring up the percentage for a reason. Everybody who listens to this show on a regular basis, I'm going to share this with you as well. I have asked that question about how do you know a successful day for you? In baseball, maybe a good batting average is 3 out of 10, but we right now are batting 1,000. Okay. We are batting 1,000. We are 10 out of 10 or 20 out of 20 or 50 out of 50. I don't know how many times I've asked that question. Not one person has ever answered it by saying they made money or they won or they achieved. They always talk about help. They always talk about joy for others. They always talk about what they were able to do for other people. And Sandra, I want you to know that. And I want everybody else who maybe hasn't heard me ask that question before, understand that. The most successful people that I have spoken to, listened to, learned from, read about, it is the same answer. They could have all the money in the world. Yeah. Money is never why they are successful.
Yeah, and so that's awesome.
I just thought I'd share that with you. 2 last questions for you here. One of them, last words, tips for anybody tuned in. And I'll lump into that. If you could impact change in this industry today with one message in a short way. And let me preface this by saying, I think that the last, 55 minutes or so together today, we went deep. We didn't talk a ton of marketing around real estate, which is one of my favorite topics. And your book was a catalyst to that. I loved a lot of the content that was in there. And when we look at the fact that, here we are, literally in the final day of the first half of our year, we're going to the back half. So a lot of the mindset stuff in my mind is absolutely imperative to share with people. But some final words, some maybe something that just everybody can resonate with as we take off today.
As a realtor, I think it's crucial that everyone that holds a license understands that you are affecting lives. We're not performing surgery, okay? Heart surgery, brain surgery. But if you do a bad job or take a lackadaisical approach because you're not connected to the joy in the job, because you're not connected to the real reason why you're doing it, then you could mess up someone's life. This is a serious gig, serious. And your clients have to understand how serious it is as well. So please understand that we are affecting lives, even if it's just minuscule. But I learned that after about 1.5 years in the job, because I wasn't really that intrigued with real estate anymore after 1.5 years. And a friend said to me, "What is it you want to do?" I said, "I don't know, but I just want to help people." And she said, "You're missing the boat. You are helping people get to the next stage of their lives, and they need you to get there." And the next time I went on a showing, I turned around and she's crying. She says, "Oh my God, we found our house. We could start our family now." And I went, wow. And that's when I found the joy. So please understand that, take your job seriously. Please do a good job for people. That's what they rely on us as professionals. And that also means working on your mindset, but also learning your craft, hone your craft constantly. 25 years in the biz, I'm still constantly taking courses and learning from my interactions from people.
Wicked powerful message. Sandra, where can people connect with you? Where can they get the book? Where can they learn about the course? Where can they find out how to maybe work with you?
Rinomato.com, RINOMATO.com, or 416-565-3001.
Screaming it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Sandra. This has been another amazing show. Just a conversation, though, for me, when we get into the depths around mindset and intention setting and manifesting, goal setting, choices, I think we went deep today, and I want to thank you again for all the amazing insights.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Obviously, I love to talk. And to talk to someone like you, David, who understands and teaches this stuff, I think that's brilliant. A great opportunity for me, and I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And I came on the camera, people, even with my COVID hair. So chill out. Just don't worry about it. Do what you got to. If you have a voice and you have a message, just get on camera. And I've got to sometimes listen to my own words. So thanks, David.
You're either listening to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're on my site, make sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle for Realtors. This is a 31-page ebook packed with a ton of tips and tricks for you. Plus, there's a ready-to-go 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more mindshare so that you can get more market share. And if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching to help you get to your next level, just get in touch with me. We'll set up a free consultation call to learn more about what you're looking to achieve and, well, how I will help you do just that. Also, don't forget that our push to 100 is on. So please be sure to go to iTunes, subscribe to the show, rate us, and leave a review. And if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. I want to once again thank Virginia Munden and the Buzz Conference for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you connect with the Buzz Conference by visiting their website, www.thebuzzconference.com, or by following them on Instagram at The Buzz Conference to keep tabs on all the awesome events they are always hosting. I also want to thank Kids Keep in Touch Systems for also sponsoring today's episode. If you haven't checked this out yet, just go to my site, mindshare101.com, and click on Marketing. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.